Let me tell you what makes any anime instantly better. It's fights! 2023 has been a fascinating year for anime fans, with shows like Vinland Saga, Demon Slayer, and Mashle all airing at the same time. Spring 2023 was on a whole other level, but we are not here to talk about the best spring anime. We're here to discuss the best fights this year. Jaw-dropping animation, epic choreography, and unforgettable moments that keeps everyone on the edge of their seats. So, without any further ado, let's dive right into it. First we have Kiriko and Maru vs Maneater. Heavenly Delusion has been the highlight of spring 2023. Even with shows like Demon Slayer, Dr. Stone, and Vinland Saga, this anime managed to leave an impact. Set in a post-apocalyptic world where man-eating monsters roam freely, Kiriko and Maru deem a place known as heaven. The show seems pretty wholesome at the beginning with Kiriko and Maru's interactions, but things take a huge turn when they encounter an actual man-eater. I wouldn't say that it was an intense battle, but coupled with fascinating animation and a mesmerizing soundtrack, this fight definitely deserves a spot on this list. Next up, we have Mash vs Abyss Razor. Some people call Mash a cheap copy of Saitama, which is somewhat true, but there are some massive differences as well, like Mash is not bald, and he lives in a magical world. But we are not here to talk about this. On his way looking for his lost friend, Lemon, Mash stumbled upon an elite member of Magia Lupia, Abyss Razor, with abilities like Accelerate and the Evil Eye that allow him to erase anyone's magic. Abyss is recognized as one of the strongest members of Magia Lupus, but he was no match against Mash's muscle magic, as he absolutely obliterated him. He rendered Abyss's Evil Eye completely useless, and even his second magic was not enough to stop him. Besides this, Mash's blank expressions and the fact that he tries so hard to pretend that he has magic make this fight 1,000 times better. Vash vs Knives. Trigun Stampede revolves around the story of a misunderstood outlaw, Vash Stampede, aka Human Typhoon, condemned by the atrocities committed by his twin brother and is now hunted by bounty hunters all across the world. To be honest, I wasn't expecting this anime to pull off 3D animation the way it did. All of us remember what happened to Berserk's remake, and people were afraid that Trigun Stampede would get the same treatment, but I'm glad it didn't. Getting back to the main topic, Vash's battle against his brother Knives certainly deserves a spot on this list. The fight had so many emotions behind it, and the way Studio Orange executed it was beyond my expectations. The flawless animation, sound effects, and choreography, everything was perfect. If I had to describe it in 2 words, I'd say artistic masterpiece. Fourfin vs Snake. How can you not include this fight on this list? That would be outrageous. Following an epic Season 1 filled with bloodthirsty battles, Season 2 starts off with Fourfin turning into a freaking farmer. But this doesn't mean this season doesn't have any epic moments. After Einar had managed to lure Snake and his men, Snake immediately realizes that something is off and heads back, only to witness Fourfin helping Gardar flee from the farm. This leads to an all-out brawl between Fourfin and Snake. With no weapon, Fourfin manages to keep up with Snake and even overpower him at times. Imagine if Fourfin had his daggers with him, Snake would have been dead meat. Hand-to-hand combats are especially difficult to animate, but Mappa sure made it look flawless. Gabi Maru vs Zoo Jin. Have you ever wondered what it would be like finding someone who is immortal? Well, Gabi Maru can give you the answer to this question. Hell's Paradise is one of those anime that keeps you on the edge of your seats with its intense battles and jaw-dropping moments. Featuring both martial arts and supernatural aspects, there are loads of fights we could have added. But there is one that stands out, and that is Gabi Maru vs Zoo Jin. After he had finally managed to reach the Hoko region, he came across one of the Tensen Zoo Jin. Despite being one of the strongest characters in the series, Gabi Maru the Hollow stood no chance against Zoo Jin's immortality. Well, it did seem like he had the upper hand in the beginning as he mustered all his strength to defeat Zoo Jin, but the immortal being turned it around real quick by transforming into a monstrous being. If not for Mei saving him, Gabi Maru would have been dead. Asta vs Conrad. 2023 witnessed the return of many fascinating shows including Black Clover, Following a 2-year hiatus, Black Clover returned with a non-canon movie, Black Clover: Sword of the Wizard King. With mesmerizing animation, intense battles, and a fascinating soundtrack, this movie was definitely worth the wait. The movie was full of jaw-dropping fights, but the fight that gave everyone goosebumps was Asta versus Conrad. I mean, who doesn't want to see Asta going against a literal Wizard King? After getting absolutely butchered by Conrad, Asta teams up with the remaining captains and reaches the Hage village, where Conrad was prepared to destroy the entire kingdom. It was quite obvious that Conrad would overpower Asta even with the Imperial sword. But with his country on the line, Asta pulled that thick plot armor and borrowed some powers from Glebe that allowed him to go head-to-head with Conrad and ultimately defeat it. Everything in the battle, including Asta's demon form, the clash of ideals, and Asta utilizing the Imperial sword to destroy the meteorite, was perfect! Sanji versus Queen. 2023 is basically the year of One Piece. There's not a single anime fan who denies this fact. Just a few days are left before we witness peak fiction in the form of Luffy's Gear 5. But before that, let's talk about this fascinating battle between Sanji and Queen. After Sanji encounters Queen after saving Chopper, Queen immediately recognizes him as the son of Judge Vinsmoke, who happens to be his former colleagues at Mads. This absolutely changes the stakes of the fight, as Queen claims that his flaming kicks are the result of some experiment conducted by Judge, and now he wants to defeat Sanji to claim his superiority over him. This battle was beautifully choreographed, portraying Sanji's emotions and the fact that he no longer identifies as a Vinsmoke. Toei really went all out with this battle, and we all love to see it. Dauma versus Snake versus Chang, Blade of the Guardians. Not many people watch Chinese anime for petty reasons, and if you're one of them, I'm telling you that you are missing out a lot. And this epic battle is the perfect example of that. To be honest, this fight's animation is even better than some mainstream anime. This fascinating battle between Dauma, who somehow looks like Musashi, and Chang versus the double-headed snake is nothing short of a masterpiece. I'm a pretty strict criticizer when it comes to sword battles, but this battle left me speechless. You don't get to witness such mesmerizing choreography every day, and I definitely don't want you guys to miss out on this epic battle. Muichiro versus Gyoko, Demon Slayer. I'm pretty sure you guys are wondering, where is Demon Slayer? And just before some of y'all comment something about it, we have Muichiro versus Gyoko. To be honest, it's just impossible to make such a list without including Demon Slayer, right? After he encountered Gyoko in the forest, Muichiro kind of underestimated the Upper Moon 5 in the beginning and had to pay the price for it. But as soon as he realized his mistake and freed himself, the fight became pretty one-sided. The fact that Muichiro was mocking Gyoko throughout the entire battle makes it even more epic, and don't even get me started on the animation. It was beautiful! Muichiro versus Gyoko was like a breath of fresh air for me in Demon Slayer, as they didn't drag out the fight and the Hashira didn't die or get crippled afterward in any way. Zoro versus King. What happens when vice captains of two of the strongest crews in One Piece go all out? Absolute chaos! Zoro versus King is one of the most epic battles I've witnessed. Being the lone survivor of the Lunarian race, King is definitely a force to be reckoned with. His battle against Zoro is nothing short of a masterpiece. With gorgeous visuals, jaw-dropping moments, and an amazing soundtrack, Toei really went all out with this battle. King definitely forced Zoro to utilize everything in his arsenal, as he gets invulnerable upon activating his wings. Well, they took some inspiration from UFO Table, as well in animating dragons and Zoro's sword strikes. In short, this battle was perfect. Here are some other fights that were pretty close to making this list, including Tanjiro versus Upper Moon 4, Mereoleona versus Princia, and Shion versus Tencent. Let me know in the comments which fight is your favorite.